Hey anglers, it's Al, the Hitman Sims with the Connecticut Fishing Recon Report. The freshest reports online. Brought to you by blackopsfishing.com. Real undercover fishing. And the first recon report for 7/27/2013 comes to us from Connecticut Outfitters in Wethersfield. Freshwater bass still good to very good, and this last week we heard reports of some really big bass coming in. Lots of topwater action day and night. Punching the mats with a creature bait brought several nice bass over the rail, including a 7-pound plus bass for Rich P. from Hebron. He was fishing at Lake of Isles in Preston. Fishing plastic baits in about 12 to 14 feet of water, either Texas rigged or free falling, has been working very well at Lake Williams and Coventry, according to Zach, who's been slamming really nice 3 to 4 pound bass from his kayak. Lakes that had good reports this week include Pickerel, Moodus, Babcock, Lake Williams, Lake of Isles, Silver Lake, Mansfield Hollow, and Long Pond. Smallmouth bass. Smallmouth bass is really good at Candlewood for anglers targeting the humps and bumps. Drop shotting worked well for Rick and Dave, who caught over 20 smallies to 3.5 pounds. The rivers are really good for smallmouths this time of year. Mark C. fished the river flowing out of Willimantic Reservoir and caught several smallies, including a true 4-pound fish on a blue fox spinner. He also hooked and fought a big pike before it jumped and shook his lure. Mark also caught a 3-pound largemouth in that same stretch. Other rivers holding fishable smallmouth populations include the Shetucket, the Salmon, Housatonic, Willimantic, and Patchogue rivers. Spinners, small jigs, and swimming minnow lures all work well. The Connecticut River is still up and down with all this rain, but much clearer in general, and the fishing is good up and down the banks. North of Hartford is great for smallmouth bass from land or boat. Anglers still doing well with jigs and swim shads in all the usual spots. Look for big pools below rifles, fallen trees along the shore, and other streams coming into the Connecticut River like the Scannick, which is a good spot for wading or to cast from a boat. Kings Island area has been hot for guys who are waiting for smallmouths. Over 20 fish is very doable. Catfish. Catfishing is excellent up and down the river. The Black Ops guys are still catching good numbers of large fish in the Haddam area from shore and boat. The bigger fish have been coming from the boat in about 20 feet of water. Cut live eels is the favorite bait for most of the gang, although the Hitman sticks to fishing his live sunnies and catching less but larger cats. Zach has been nailing nice channel cats right from his yard near the Rocky Hill Ferry, and Kyle and Moose have tallied 6 more cats at Wethersfield Cove. The Marine Report. Fluke fishing still very good in the Rhode Island area and good in the Thames and Mystic area. Squid was the best bait last week. There's still some schools of squid in the Sound. The Hitman's been scoring nice fluke in the 19 to 22 inch range right at Two Tree Channel in Niantic in the deeper drop-offs on Spro jigs baited with whole squid. Porgies are still slow in Connecticut, but it's been picking up lately. Sea bass, plenty of shorts stealing bait everywhere. Bigger sea bass will show closer to fall, although we heard of a pair of 5-pound fish coming from Cerebus Shoal, a secret spot for big fluke and sea bass. Striper fishing is good on the local reefs, especially for those using live bait. Any reef can be good, but they do go hot and cold with the tides. Last week's full moon cycle accounted for a lot of bigger 40-pound plus fish. Black point, hatchets, hens and chickens, 6 Mile, Bartlett's, Cornfield, Race Rock were all good at times during the week, and there's still plenty of bass at night in the race. Corso, who surf casts for stripers, has a count of 6 keepers so far from Harkness Beach. He fished several nights in the last week. Blues are everywhere. The best shore catches have come from Hammonasset Point and Fort Trumbull on the Thames River. Boat fishermen are still scoring well in the race. Blues. The blues are everywhere. Best shore catches have come from Hammonasset Point and Fort Trumbull on the Thames. Boat fishermen are scoring on the reefs. The Race or 6 Mile Reef are the best bets. And the next recon report comes to us from the Fish Connection in Preston. There's still small bass around buoy 27 and from there to the mouth. Guys are getting those on chunk bait. Not much word about blues in the river though. Fluke fishing is good in the Misquamicut area. South side of Fishers is a little slow right now. Bass fishing has slowed down a little bit in the last week as well. Some guys are getting them 3-weighing bucktails in the race, and other customers are getting them 3-weighing eels at Valiant Rock. Watch Hill in Rhode Island and Sugar Reef are producing for bass as well. And the last recon report comes to us from Hilliard's Tackle in Waterford. Bluefish, they're a little slower than they usually are this time of year, but we expect that to change any day now. Fluke fishing is good and still holding its own and close to home. That's a big plus for the locals and for the shop. Stop in and see our great supply of fluke baits and rigs. Sea bass. Keepers are coming in, but it's mostly a bycatch from fluke fishing. There's small sea bass everywhere. Porgies are now at all the usual spots. They're a little later this year, but they're here now. Just this morning, a gentleman brought in 2 20-inch blackfish caught near Millstone. Bass fishing. It's been a little slower, but the Sharpies are still getting bass. First light and last light seems to be the best. This has been Al the Hitman Sims with the Connecticut Fishing Recon Report. Until next week, keep off my bass.